Welcome back to our discussion on refactoring. So what I want to do in this lesson, in this video, is to remove our credentials from where we currently have them. So let's get rid of them. Okay, so what I want to do instead is to use a flag that will keep our credentials for us. Okay, which allows the user to use a different set of credentials if they want to use another database. Okay, so we need to change a few things. The first thing I'm going to do is to say that I will create a new flag, and I will name this like an appropriate name. It will be a string flag. Okay, and the user will have to type DSN, and the default will be Postgres colon // quote box. That's the name of the user. And now I'm going to have another colon, and I'm going to have the password. Now I will use $swordfish $. All right, and so that is different than what we have been using, which is the $sign. And I will discuss why I'm using the $sign in a few. So at localhost / quote box, that's the name of the database. And then SSL mode is disable. All right, let me put these on separate lines. Okay, and the help message will be PostgreSQL DSN, which is data source name. Okay, so probably I should put this on another line. All right. So it turns out that when I tried to use the Pong sign in my password, okay, when I had Pong, swordfish Pong, it would give me errors. So for some reason, it seems that I'm not able to use the Pong sign. So we will have to go into our database and change the password to be $swordfish $. We will do that in a few. All right, so this is my DSN. It's a pointer to this. So I will pass the DSN to my function that sets up the connection. So again, I cannot pass DSN because DSN is a pointer, but I will pass it as a string. Okay? And so now I have to go up to my function, and I have to say that it takes a parameter of type string. Okay, and that's all we really need to do. That's rather straightforward. So now I'm going to come here, and I will log in as super user. Okay, and then I will simply change my password. Let me go in /c quote box. So I'm switching to the quote box database, and then I will simply alter role, which is quote box, and I'm going to say with password, and I will give it the new password, which is $, swordfish $. Okay, again, I'm using the $, because I kept getting errors when I use the pong sign. Okay. All right. So just something for you to keep in mind. We need to use a $sign for the password. All right, that seems okay. Alter role quote box with password $, swordfish $. Great. Let me get out of this. Let me see if I can log in with my new password. $, swordfish. Oops, I made a mistake. Yeah, let's do it again. $, swordfish $. All right, so my password has been updated. Okay, so let's give it a go. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, so let's use -help. Okay, and it tells us that we have 2 flags. Right, and notice all the flags, then flags.parse. Okay, so let's run this again, and let's change the port to be 5000. Okay, and so this means that the default password, the default data source name, DSN, will be what we currently have. Okay, great. So this works. Okay, so if I, as the user, wanted to change my data source name, I could do that by simply using the DSN flag followed by an equal sign and then the assignment sign and then a string. Okay, all right, but I'm not going to do that. Now we have a problem though, because if you notice, our password is exposed, right? So what do we do when we don't want to have our password exposed? So for example, what happens if I accidentally forgot my flash drive with all of my code and somebody found it and saw my password? Or what if I want to upload this information, this web app on GitHub, where I want to give it to somebody to look at? They will see my password. Okay, so how do we overcome this? How do we provide a password without explicitly providing the password? So let's do that. Let's fix that right now. So what I'm going to do, for those of you who have Linux background, which I think most of you do, we will set some environment variables. Okay, so specifically, if let's open a new terminal. Let me open here. Okay, where am I right now? Okay, I'm home. Okay, so if I list all the hidden files, okay, you'll see that there's one called .profile, right? So this is your home directory. So in your home directory, we have a file named .profile, right? You must be in your home directory. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this file. Let's use vim.profile. Okay, I for insert, and at the bottom, I will create a variable. So I'm going to export it, right? And this variable, I will call it quote box underscore db underscore dsn. Okay, so the quote box database data source name. And so this name, okay, let's put it in single quotes. This name will contain my DSN. So I'm going to retype everything. So Postgres, all right, colon, forward slash, quote box, okay, colon, $, swordfish, $, followed by at localhost, forward slash, name of our database, quote box, and then SSL mode is disable. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to escape, colon W. Okay, so I've written it, I've saved it. So this is my DSN. So what I want to do is to provide this variable name instead of the actual DSN. So let me exit, colon Q, exclamation point. Okay. So whenever you set an environment variable, you need to restart your computer, your Linux machine. But since I don't want to restart my Linux machine, I can use the source command, okay, where I could say, right, I could simply say source, okay, followed by the name of the file, .profile, okay. And what this will do, this will temporarily allow my terminal, okay, my terminal, this is my terminal, to recognize that new variable I created. However, this is temporary, like I'm saying. For it to be permanent, we need to restart our Linux machine, okay? But I don't want to do that right now. All right, so if I check, if I say echo, if I use the echo command, $, and the name of my variable, quote box underscore db underscore dsn, I will get what it is, right? Again, if I close my terminal, okay, and I open a new terminal, and I ask the same question, if I say echo $, quote box underscore db underscore dsn, it will tell me nothing, right? Because, like I said, it's temporary. We have to restart the machine. All right. We have our variable set. And so what I am going to do is to not use this name anymore. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't want to use that. I want to instead specify that I want to use the variable, the environment variable name that I created. And so to do that, I'm going to use the OS package from Go, and it has a function named get environment. And all you have to tell it is what's the name of the environment variable. And for us, it's quote box underscore db underscore dsn. Okay, and so now we have fixed our problem. We can readily provide this file or this code, and nobody will know what our password is because that information is physically stored on our Linux machine. All right, that's the benefit. Now let's let me check to see if it's available. Right, echo $, quote box underscore db underscore dsn, right? Not available, but I could fix that by simply saying source. Again, this is temporary. Okay, I'm not in my home directory. So how do I tell Linux I want the file name .profile in my home directory? I'll just say $home / .profile. Okay, and so it has temporarily recognized that variable, and I could verify that by doing echo. All right, great. So now I'm going to go ahead and I will start my server. And everything else, it should still work. Right? And we could verify that. 5,000 again. Okay. We could do show. Right? And we could do quote. Okay. So everything still works, but now we have a bit more security in terms of our credentials. Again, this is just refactoring. Okay, now one other benefit of using the environment variable, apart from it allowing us to have security for our password, is that we can now do something like this. If I want to quickly switch into my quote box database from Postgres, right? So let's say I want to go into quote box. Well, hold on, let me quickly, I don't want to do this. I don't want to type all of this. What I can do, let me source it first, right? Because I need to source it. Okay, so yeah, it's not there. So let me quickly source it. Terminal, you have to source it until you restart your Linux machine. After you restart your Linux machine, everything works without having to source it. That profile. Okay, so it works. So now I can do something like this. PSQL, and I could just say $, quote, box underscore db underscore dsn, and there I go. Right? So I no longer have to write out the entire PSQL command. So that's a side benefit of putting our database connection credentials in an environment variable. So two reasons we do it. One, it's more secure, and two, it gives us faster access to our database. All right, brings us to the end of this lesson, and to ensure our credentials, environment variables are paid to actually restart your machine. So let me do that right now, and I will see you in the next lesson.